So after the last 3 episodes of the show were so great and had the Rangers defeat 2 of the main villains, I was interested to see where the show would go next, seeing how there are only 3 episodes left in the season. But with a title like that, hopefully this episode will progress the plot enough so that we can see where the show is headed. This is episode 18, Emperor Mavro. The episode opens in space where Levira asks Damaris if they have received any new orders, but he says he hasn't heard anything before— holy crap!
What's happening?
An enemy attack!
They're destroying our ships!
Make way for Emperor Mavro!
He's here?
Bow down before His Royal Highness! Your Majesty! As you can see, Damaris, most of your fleet has just paid the ultimate price for your dismal failure to conquer this planet and to protect my son, Prince Vakar! Emperor, I can explain. Take Damaris into custody. Sire? Your incompetence cannot be ignored any longer. What? But your Majesty...
Silence! You were supposed to protect the prince and you failed! Now you will suffer! Inept fool! Not only did you not protect him, you watched him get destroyed!
Wait! Damaris won the prince! He tried to stop him!
Quiet! You're lucky you don't get worse than this!
Take him away! Sire, please, allow me to redeem myself.
Well, that's happened. Emperor Mavro also swears vengeance on the Rangers for destroying his son, saying now he will destroy them. Speaking of, the Rangers are taking care of a squad of X-Borgs on Earth, and during the fight Jake is messing around doing trick moves. After the X-Borgs are defeated, Gia asks Jake why he was fighting like that, and he says it's because this is the end of the invasion since the Armada no longer has any monsters. Noah agrees, but Troy is reluctant to celebrate, saying he doesn't think the Armada is done with Earth. Emma changes the subject by suggesting that they have a piggyback race to Ernie, so Jake and Noah compete, leaving Troy and Orion behind. Not understanding what a piggyback ride is, Orion propositions Troy for one, but he refuses, saying he's got a better idea as the two leave. Back in space, one of the Emperor's generals yells at the X-Borgs for their failure and says he should take care of the Rangers himself, but before the Emperor can send him down to Earth, Levira begs the Emperor to have Damaris redeem himself by destroying the Rangers. The Emperor agrees, but tells Levira it's on her head if Damaris should fail before Levira and the general go to release Damaris. After hearing of his mission, Damaris breaks out of his cell, saying the only thing that kept him there was his allegiance to the Emperor before leaving the ship to go crush the Rangers. Back on Earth, Troy and Orion talk about how the Armada may be out of leaders as they go to buy some tickets for a rock concert later that night. Meanwhile, the others stop their race so that Jake and Noah can rest, which they don't get to do long as the Emperor's fleet begins attacking the city. Damaris then lands in front of the Rangers, saying vengeance will be his, and the teens question if he is the Armada's new leader before they charge Damaris with their blasters. Using his sword, Damaris strikes the Rangers down and begins walking towards them before Troy and Orion arrive with their blasters to help. Orion recognizes Damaris and tells the others he is the most powerful warrior in the universe, so the Rangers morph straight into Super Mega Mode and attack him as one. However, Damaris is able to take on all the Rangers at once before striking them down and focusing on Troy. Damaris knocks Troy back before striking the Rangers again with his sword, and the team decides to retreat and regroup, but Damaris won't let them as he continues his attack. Damaris strikes down the other Rangers before again focusing on Troy, who is trying to protect Jake. Since Jake is the only one still standing, he tries to help Troy but gets knocked back. The other Rangers get up and charge Damaris, but he strikes them down again and launches his finisher at Troy, which Jake tries to block. However, that doesn't seem to help as they are both thrown into the side of a building before falling to the ground and demorphing. Jake tries to protect the downed Troy by fighting Damaris on Morph, but he gets tossed aside. Damaris lifts up Troy, saying he will pay for destroying Vakar, so Troy tries to morph, but Damaris knocks the morpher and key out of his hand before throwing Troy to the ground. Jake watches on as Damaris picks up a now unconscious Troy, saying Troy may be more useful to him alive before teleporting away. Jake picks up Troy's morpher and key and goes to check on the others who are all unconscious. Damaris takes Troy to the Emperor so he can decide Troy's fate, and the general from earlier says they should destroy him, but the Emperor says that since the people of Earth see the Red Ranger as a hero, they should ransom his life to gain control of the planet. As Troy is dragged away to be put on display on Earth, he says that the other Rangers will come for him and that he'll be back for the Emperor. At the command center, Jake is nursing the others for their injuries before Damaris sends a message to everyone on Earth saying the Armada has their Red Ranger and that the people of Earth have 1 hour to surrender their planet to the Armada or Troy will be killed. The others say they need to save Troy, but Jake says he'll go since the others are too hurt, so Gosei sends Tensu with him to help. An hour later, Damaris says Troy's time is up, but Troy says that humans all fight for the Earth and that fight will go on with or without him, so Damaris orders some guards to eliminate him him, but before they can, Jake shows up to blast them. Jake continues blasting some X-Borgs, saying he's here for Troy, before Damaris orders more X-Borgs to attack. Jake is able to hold off the X-Borgs on morphs, so Damaris orders the Royal Guards to attack, at which point Jake morphs to take them on, before going super to continue fighting the X-Borgs. Jake channels the magical source of Mystic Force and strikes down a few X-Borgs before taunting Damaris for not fighting, so Damaris jumps down and strikes Jake, causing him to demorph. With Damaris distracted, Tensu shows up to break Troy free, and Troy thanks Tensu before jumping down to give Jake some help. Troy kicks Damaris back before going to Jake, who gives Troy his legendary morpher and key as the two get up to face Damaris. Damaris orders some X-Borgs to attack Jake and Troy, but the others are there to blast the X-Borgs. The team morphs straight into Super Mega Mode to take on a squad of X-Borgs, and once they are defeated, the Rangers charge Damaris. Using some teamwork, Jake and Troy are able to strike down Damaris with their sabers and blasters, before the Rangers finish them off with a Super Mega Cannon. Levere causes Damaris to grow, so the Rangers form the legendary Megazord and the Not Q-Rex to fight Damaris once more, but during the fight, Damaris blasts both Megazords back. Jake says that if the Rangers work together, they can take down Damaris like they did Vakar, so the team forms the ultimate legendary Megazord, which is powerful enough to defeat Damaris. After the fight, the Rangers go back to the command center, where Troy thanks them for coming to save him, before giving the others the tickets he bought for the rock concert. Orion asks what a rock concert is as the Rangers head to the show, and the episode ends with this.
Take a chance, it's gonna last forever and ever. Every day, all we wanna have is fun, 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 fun anyway. So just come and join us one by one. Show what you know. Go, we can't let this moment pass. This is the best rock group I have ever seen. Let's just make this party last.
This episode is a nice follow-up to All Hail Prince Vakar, and ultimately serves as a good transition back into the Super Megaforce swing of things. What I mean by that is, while Rock is Back is a very well put together two-parter, it focused primarily on wrapping up every major story arc of last season, so it was nice to get an episode that reminded us of all the major things that were happening this season. That said, I think the title of this episode is a bit misleading. Don't get me wrong, when the Emperor shows up, he has a pretty intimidating presence, but based on the title, I was expecting him to do more than he does here. No, this is Damaris' episode through and through. Everything he does has a purpose to it, and I bought every decision he made in the episode, such as keeping Troy alive to be punished by the Emperor, or thinking that he was too powerful to be destroyed by the Rangers. I for one was really surprised to find out that Damaris was as powerful as he was, since I had never seen him in combat before this episode, and I think he singles out Troy when he's fighting the Rangers because he wants them to feel what it's like to lose a leader in battle. That's why he leaves Earth once he has Troy, despite the fact that Jake can still fight, because in his mind the Rangers were defeated once they lost Troy. And it's because Damaris overlooks the power of their teamwork that the Rangers are able to beat him in the end. I also really like Jake's characterization in this episode. At first I was annoyed that he wasn't taking the threat seriously at the beginning, but once Damaris shows up and nearly kills the Rangers, he instantly understands the seriousness of the situation and that it is now on him to save Troy. But even then, he doesn't do something stupid like try to take on the threat by himself because he feels bad for surviving. Instead, he goes with Tensu and the two make a plan to rescue Troy safely. Lastly, I want to talk about the final scene of this episode. Now, I could be totally wrong about this, and you guys can call me crazy if you want, but I think this scene is there to help build towards the Legend War somehow. It just seems too coincidental that the current team would go to a rock concert where two members of the band are former Power Rangers when we are this close to the end of the season. In fact, I'd even go as far as to say that in the next episode we will definitely see the whole Samurai team. Again, I could be totally wrong about that, but I think my assumption is pretty close. Overall, this is a good episode that once again has good characterization for the Rangers as well as the villains, with some pretty intense action scenes and the introduction of a new villain, which hopefully will serve as a transition into the Legend War as the season comes to a close. I'm Nick, aka IronBet1993, and may the power protect you.